Victoria Magbalang will introduce the winner, a Jefferson Elementary School District alum and 2 Jefferson Elementary School District finalists of the Daly City Youth Poet Laureate 2022-2023 contest. Ms. Magbalang. Good evening.
Hi. The invitation. I was wondering about the microphone. I can be loud. Anyway, thank you so much for inviting our 2022-23 Daly City Youth Poet Laureate. That's Chloe Chow. She will be reading a poem, and as well, we have 2 of our finalists are JESD students. Chloe was also a JESD student, but now she attends Westmore High School. And we have Julene Malari and Angelica Varilla. They are both students at Fernando Rivera. So, Chloe, would you like to come up first?
All right. This is a fun part of being on the board.
Thank you. Okay, I'll be reading my poem, Searching for All the Lost Things. The buzz in ears, feeling only, sand against toes, the roughness of it, underneath nails in eyes. Light a candle, feel the way lungs expand to the glow of flames, kissing the edge of the horizon, melting wax like smooth honey. Watch the way the sun sets in the evening. While you're at it, look for an escape. Search the attic. Slice through the packing tape of old cardboard boxes, because you might find it there, but instead you find yourself in the fleeting years. Dark eyes, the soft flesh underneath them dark with insomnia. Songs half sung on lips, the curve of ribs above heart. That's your birthright, so keep it safe. Tuck it in the pocket of your pretty blue jeans or in the locket of your flight. But be careful. Your head doesn't quite fit that bicycle helmet. If you fall, you'll skin your knee against the whitewashed fences, against green grass. Then the buzz in ears, feeling only. Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite up Julene to read one of her poems.
Good evening. My name is Julene Malari. I'm an 8th grader currently attending Fernando Rivera, and the poem that I will be reading for you tonight is called The Power of Education. Education. She is like the blowing summer breeze, a detail we think is always guaranteed. We pass her by with ease, and when she is gone, only then does it dawn on us her importance in our lives, in our futures, in our world. Education. She is the path opening the doors of opportunity. She is the embodiment of people fighting for the right to a better life. 1839, the first school for women was established, giving young girls a chance to enhance her life, to be more than just a wife and a mother. 1954, all Americans alike allowed to go to the same schools. Integration replaced segregation. Young people given a chance to have equal opportunities, no matter the color of their skin. Education. A system built to bring people out of poverty, to give equality in the workforce, and open better opportunities for the less privileged. But how does this system fulfill its job when kids in the poorest countries are robbed of their education? Their childhood is taken from them, having to work night and day, barely paid just to provide for their families. Education is a privilege that should not be taken for granted. We must share this gift to the world because every child deserves the power of education. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
They're so impressive, aren't they? Especially, I mean, we have 2 middle schoolers here. Generally, this contest is more geared towards juniors in high school. So the fact that we have Chloe, who this is the second year that she's participated, when she was only in middle school last year, and then we have 2 middle schoolers here. I mean, they still have lots of chances to try and maybe actually become the Youth Poet Laureate next time. So thank you both so much. And Angelica, we'd love to have you come up. Last but not least, she is another one of our wonderful poets.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all are having a lovely evening today. My name is Angelica Varela. I am also an 8th grader at Fernanda Rivera. And today I will be reading He is the One. As days passed by, I began to know him more. Every day feels like I'm dancing on the dance floor. Full of joy, happiness, and laughter, he always looks into my eyes after. He gives me joy every day. It almost feels like a fairy tale. He reminds me of the season winter, full of joy and happiness. My heart is telling me the one and only. Thank you.
Thank you again to all of our poets, and thank you so much to the district for inviting them to come and for your support of our program.
Thank you very much. Do board members have any comments, questions?
You go first, go ahead. No, go.
Yeah. I mean, we live in a society where we know that what you say means a lot. So the power of words impacts us in so many ways. But to see and hear such powerful words come from youth is even more invigorating. And it gives me even more pride to see that you all are students and alumni of our district. I think that is something that we are able to celebrate. I wasn't able to make it to City Hall when you had the celebration, inducting you into this new role and also celebrating some of the submissions. So I think it's such a treat for us to hear from you all this evening. So I look forward to hearing more of your writings, more of your work, and continue to promote our district through your words and impact many lives through your representation. So thank you. And thank you to Victoria, Mrs. Magbilang, for your leadership. This is new to us, but I know that it was your leadership and your vision that brought this to Daly City. So thank you.
I won't repeat all the same thing. I agree with everything she said. But I want to say thank you to our teachers and our parents and everybody that has anything to do to support our children, to make them successful. It's hard to talk with this thing on here, sorry. Anyway, but I'm really so happy of this whole program, and I hope that we continue to have this going on for our children, because they really need all the support we can give them. The more we give to our children, the more resources we have for them, the more successful they will be in their life forever. So with that, congratulations to everyone, and we do more. And anything else?
Great job. Those were beautiful poems. Chloe, Julene, and Angelica, correct? Keep it up. You know, your words are powerful. And I really enjoyed hearing about, you know, words like opportunity, future, a better life. You know, and you're manifesting, you can manifest that by putting it out there in front of all of us with your words. So we're looking forward to seeing the action behind it. And I know you said that you were also a school leader. So we see it. We see your leadership. We thank you and we welcome you to please come back again. And this was a beautiful way to start our meeting.
Thank you. Ms. Jordan, do you have any comments? No? Okay. I just echoing my colleague, just saying congratulations to Chloe, Jolene, and Angelica for just making it as a finalist, as well as Chloe for being selected as a Youth Poet Laureate. I was able to attend the ceremony, I think it was like a week and a half ago. Great attendance. I think just hearing the poems and poetry from all the finalists was pretty amazing, especially knowing that I probably couldn't make the poems as good as all the students said. So just want to congratulate all of you guys on your successes. And thank you, Ms. Magbalong, for making this possible and bring this to Daly City as well. And then,
Mr. Koo, may I say a few words?
yes. Ms. Vidal.
So, Ms. Magdalene, correct me if I'm wrong in any of this. But this contest, the Daly City Youth Poet Laureate, is open to any student who is either a student in Daly City or living in Daly City or attends a school in Daly City. And she, Ms. Magdalene, recruited, I suppose, a very distinguished panel of judges to read all the poems, and they did a blind reading. They didn't know the name of the student, they didn't know the student's age or gender or anything about it. They just had the word in front of them, and they judged them and selected their Youth Poet Laureate, runners-up, and finalists. And so I think that practice, as Ms. Magdalene mentioned, might have yielded more juniors and seniors if you had names or ages on there, but making it a blind reading really leveled the playing field, so to speak, for all students with this type of talent to feel like they had a fair shot. So thank you, Ms. Magdalene, and I'm so glad to see the way this program's progressed. I was on the board for DCPLA when we voted to start it, but then I soon came off before it flourished, so it's wonderful.
Thank you so much. The only thing that I wanted to add to what you said was that the contestants are actually judged equally on their poetry, but also on their civic activity. So it's not only, they're not only expected to be amazing poets, but also to be civically engaged, because the position of Daly City Youth Poet Laureate, it's a job. It's not an award. Like we're not just rewarding them for past performance. We're expecting them to act as a representative of the Daly City Public Library Associates, of the Jefferson Union High School District, Jefferson Elementary School District. So they get a very nice stipend, and that's because it is a position where they are out in the community, attending events, showing their work, and really just being advocates for whatever their causes are. So I think that's a really important thing to mention. It's part of the National Youth Poet Laureate program, which was created by Urban Word. And that's, you may be familiar if you heard of Amanda Gorman, who performed at Joe Biden's ceremony. She was or inauguration. She was the very first National Youth Poet Laureate. So she's not the current one because it's been going on a few years. But we do this program in partnership with them, and they give us a rubric. And so it makes it very easy for the judges to judge the contestants based on their poetry work, and their civic engagement. So yeah, it's a very exciting program, and I'm really glad that we're offering it. And yes, we plan on doing it from now on. So make sure you please encourage all these teachers that we have here. Please encourage your students to participate in the program. We'll be launching our next one in October. And yeah, thank you for everyone for being interested and participating.
Thank you.
Thank you. The board also has several certificates to hand out to our awardees, so I will pass it along to present.
So this is a certificate of appreciation for Angelica Rianne Varilla. Did I get that? This is
This is a certificate of appreciation for Julene Grace Malari. Malari?
All right. Certificate of appreciation for this flag ceremony, and the governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District takes great pleasure in presenting this commendation to Chloe Chow in recognition of your recent achievement as the winner of the 2022-23 Daly City Youth Poet Laureate. Congratulations.
Thank you again for attending tonight, and join me in giving them another round of applause as well. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Moving along, next item is item 6A, board member acknowledgement and commendations. I will start on my far left with Ms. Jordan. Ms. Jordan, do you have any comments you want to make?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on Zoom. I just realized that I can't see and be there in person for what's actually happening. So, that's unfortunate, but I do appreciate being here, at least to be able to hear what's going on and to be able to participate in this agenda. I want to congratulate our Youth Poet Laureate tonight. Just congratulations on all your endeavors and all you've done for the community of Daly City. And I'm excited for the agenda and our discussions this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Ali?
Yes. So first of all, I'd like to acknowledge all the teachers in the room. We had Teacher Appreciation Week last week, and it should be every day, as we know. But anyway, thank you. And if you weren't acknowledged personally, I would like to acknowledge you and commend all of you for your great work with our students. And of course, since we're, still in the commendation part of our agenda, I want to commend again the young ladies that came here today and spoke to us. I picked up on the fact that there was some type of civic engagement or, social justice involved. So I was glad to hear that that's a part of it, that it's not just getting up there and trying to entertain people or sound good. Although you did sound good, but what you said was powerful, and we're just looking forward to all the great work that you're going to do moving forward.
Thank you. Mr. Suela?
Reflections? Well, there's a lot of things to reflect on, a lot of good things. Everything today was wonderful. And I wanted to have a shout out for the arts fair. I thought it was fantastic. Best I've seen in a long, long time. And it was all together. It was like I didn't want to go home. It was wonderful. And the artwork was outstanding. So for all the students and their parents and the teachers and anyone that had anything to do with it, you guys did a great job. I didn't want to go home. It was so good. And a special thanks to the TRP dance department. They put on a great show. And Lisa Freyes is a great teacher. She's done so much in our community and for our students. And I come from a background of, I had a dance school. I had my daughters danced all over San Francisco Ballet and whatever. They did all this stuff. And to see what our teachers doing in our district is amazing. Because when you give an opportunity to a child in school, whether it's sports or dancing, singing, or whatever it is, band, whatever, it makes them a better person. And they can succeed in anything they do. It all comes down to what are we doing while we sit here on the board to support children. And this is the way we're doing it. And not all schools do it now. Not all of them do it. So I want to thank everybody who helps us do and keep our programs going. And I really appreciate keeping the arts in our school district. So I won't keep going on because I'll be talking for way too long. But that's what I say. I'm really pleased with where we are. Thank you.
Thank you. I too, like my colleague, Board Trustee Ali, would also like to extend my deep gratitude to our teachers as we celebrated last week. And then this upcoming week, we will be celebrating our classified employees, or I'm sorry, is it class? Yes, our classified employees. And I just want to also extend my gratitude. Many times working for the district and in education, many of you know is a thankless job, but it's a rewarding job for our students. And I think this evening's presentation is a great example of how you are building our students up. They get to learn from you in their classrooms and be able to cultivate the talents that are sitting with them. And that's because they have educators and staff in the district that help them to thrive. So I want to thank you all for that. And as we are in May, we are celebrating AANHPI Heritage Month, Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. This Saturday, the Shine Festival will be taking place. It's an annual celebration right here in Daly City. Will be happening at Jefferson High School, and it is a Pacific Islander event. It's a free event for your family. So I would love to encourage everyone to participate. It's an all-day event. We are bringing back Pacific Island Festival, which is also hosted by Pacific Islands Together, which is a Daly City organization, and that will be part of San Mateo County's summer events. So please save the date for that as well. And it's just exciting to see us finish strong as we come to the end of our school year. Was just seeing a lot of the students and educators get over a lot of the hiccups and the bumps and a lot of the overwhelmment that many of us have felt in these past 2 years. So I just want to say thank you for staying strong and hanging in there. And I'm really excited when I see our fellow district across seeing their project get kicked off with their housing right there at Ceremony Del Rey. And when I pass MP Brown every day, I'm even more excited to know that that's coming soon for our district. So there are many things that you may not see at this time, but the board continues to try to foster a lot of the feedback that we get and make sure that we bring forth things that we hear from the community on the ground. And so again, just want to say thank you for all of the hard work that is happening and wish you all well.
I want to just echo some of my colleagues, just thanking our teachers, our staff, nurses, classified, just as National Appreciation Week and Month. But I think it's also beyond just a week and a month, but it's also every single day. So just want to express my thanks as well as the board's thanks for all the work that you could do for our students and our community. And then I also want just a couple of acknowledgements. I know this coming Friday is Jefferson Union High School District's, our parent district's 100th anniversary. So just want to congratulate them on 100 years of service to our community, as well as on their not groundbreaking, their opening for their workforce housing projects. I just want to congratulate them on my behalf. And then lastly, I also wanted to commend Trustee Liga Anoa'i. I know this past couple days, you've been recognized by the state legislature as well as San Mateo County for your service as a leader in our community. So just want to extend my congratulations on all that, and thank you for all that you do for us all. Next item is item 6B, Superintendent Comments.
Yes. So, yes, also want to extend my congratulations to Trustee Manufo Lienga Anoa'i for your recognition. I'm not on social media often, but when I am and I see people I recognize, I get really happy. So it was nice to see all of the postings celebrating your recognition at the state legislature as an honoree from the California Legislative, AAPI Legislative Caucus, as an honoree of excellence in your work as civil rights. That's impressive. So we're so proud to have you on our board and to have you represent us in this way. The other thing I'd like to add, we've spoken a bit about the celebration from our partner district for opening up their workforce housing. Our workforce housing just received permitting days ago. And if you've driven by MP Brown, you started to see the construction trailer being parked there and work getting ready. And so while we held a ceremonial groundbreaking event last August because we thought the permits were within weeks, the actual permits, as I mentioned, got received this week. There will be a real groundbreaking happening Monday morning at 9 a.m. So if you're available, you can come. We'll have a golden shovel. We'll let you try to get in there before the tractors do, and then move us off right away so the tractors can get working. If you remember, our project is built by modules. The modules are currently being constructed right now, and will be transported to Daly City by sometime the end of June, early July, and then will be, they call them stacked, sometime this fall, and then finished throughout the spring. So we're excited. We're right around the corner. So thank you for your leadership in this and for your patience.
Thank you. Next item is item 7A, consent agenda. The administration recommends approval of the starred items on the rest of the agenda as presented.
I move that we approve this consent agenda.
Seconds.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. That was unanimous. Next item is item 7C. Resolution number 22-05-11 to excuse Manufo Linga Anuai from board meetings April 12th and April 20th, 2022. Pursuant to Education Code 35129C, the board will consider request for passage of a resolution to excuse Manufo Linga Anuai absences on April 12th, 2022 and April 20th, 2022 due to hardship.
I move that we approve the resolution to excuse board member Liana Anoa'i from board meeting April 12th and 20th, 2022.
Second.
There's a first and a second. May I please get a roll call?
Ms. Leah Inga Anoa'i,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Mr. Ali,
Aye.
Ms. Jordan,
Aye.
Mr. Koo.
Aye. That was unanimous. Next item is item 7D, resolution number 22-05-11A, Classified Employees Week. The administration recommends adoption of resolution number 22-05-11A, designating the week of May 15th to 21st, 2022 as Classified Employees Week.
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution 22-05-11A, Classified Employees Appreciation Week.
Second.
There's a first and a second. May I please get a roll call?
Ms. Leah Inga Anoa'i,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Mr. Ali,
Aye.
Ms. Jordan,
Aye.
Mr. Koo.
Aye. That was unanimous. And thank you so very much for your service to our district. Next item is item 7H, flying Pride Progress Flag during the month of June 2022 at all JESD facilities. Members of the governing board will consider directing the administration to arrange for the flying of the Pride Progress Flag during the month of June 2022. The Pride Progress Flag symbolizes inclusion, respect, acceptance, and pride in oneself, and reflects the ideals of the Jefferson Elementary School District to respect, protect, and accept all individuals regardless of ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, and other protected characteristics. The Pride Progress flag will fly during the month of June 2022 below the flag of the United States and that of the state of California, and provide another affirmation for the phrase, with liberty and justice for all. Superintendent Finalists, could you give an overview on this item?
Yeah, I think most of what I would say is already written in that paragraph. And so this is just an opportunity for Jefferson Elementary School District to join in solidarity with members of our community who identify with the LGBTQI community, our parents, our staff, some of our students, and just members of our community in general. So other school districts are also recognizing this in a similar way, and it's appropriate for us to join.
Thank you. I was going to say, if everyone's okay with us, just going to call for public comments first, and then we can speak afterwards. So the first speaker on this item is Craig Wisner, County Commissioner. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm San Mateo County Commissioner Craig Wiesner. My husband and I have lived in Daly City for 30 years. We're blessed to live in a place where God's wild diversity is celebrated with a true sense of belonging, wide open arms, and progress, symbolized by this flag. In other states today, teachers and administrators are being fired for displaying symbols like this. Rainbow stickers are being scraped off doors and walls of schools. Books like this, featuring children and families of all colors, shapes, and sizes, have been banned. Imagine how it feels for a child to pick up book after book after book in their school and never see anyone who looks like her or their family in those books. Imagine this book about Sally Ride being banned from classrooms. You don't have to imagine. It is. Some may ask, how do I explain this flag in an age-appropriate way? Simple. It means that here in these schools, in our town, you are loved. No matter what color you are, no matter who you love, no matter what your family looks like. You might ask, what does this arrow mean? Simple again. Some folks can't see the beauty in people who are different from them, people who look different, people who love in different ways and grow up in different kinds of families. The arrow tells us we have work to do, progress to make, until everyone feels welcome and safe. I ask you to please vote yes on flying this symbol of inclusion, love, wide open arms, and progress in June. It will be a beacon of joy for today and a sign of hope and a call to action for an even better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Monica Casey, AFT 1481 president from the Jefferson Union High School District. Good evening.
Good evening, President Koo, members of the board, staff, students, and public. Thank you for bringing this agenda item to the public and students. I'm a proud member of the queer community, and as you already mentioned, I'm the president of Jefferson High Schools Union, AFT 1481, siblings to your union, your teachers union, AFT 3267. We stand in support, we hope you do as well, for flying the Pride Progress flag. It's so important for us to be visible and show our students and our communities the support for our LGBTQ+ and all students. I look forward to our district joining you in flying these flags. So please vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Annie Stewart, teacher.
Good evening. My name is Annie Stewart, and I am an educator at Jefferson High School. I am retiring this year. Monica is my wife. I started at Ben Franklin many, many years ago and moved on to Jefferson. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for having this item on your agenda. Again, I will echo what Monica said. I hope that our district is going to follow suit. To reference one of your poets talking about that education is something that should be afforded to everybody, no matter what. I can just tell you that having a supportive and safe environment for our students and our staff and everybody, our parents, because we have queer parents as well, is important. We need to create a safe space for them. Visibility matters. At my GSA meeting last week, the kids had a talking stick, and many of them said that even though they were not out themselves, they appreciated coming to school and seeing somebody like them, somebody they could talk to, somebody they could trust, and just having just somebody to be there for them. So as you know, what you mentioned is that these rights are being taken away, right and left, and it's a very scary time. And our kids are at risk. And if you read the statistics, they're very high for suicide. So I'm happy this is on here. I hope we will also be flying the flag in Jefferson Union High School. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Victoria Magbilang, parent.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak about this important subject. As a parent whose children have now moved on to high school, but who previously attended JESD schools, I'd like to speak in support of flying the Pride Progress flag at all school sites during the month of June. I believe that doing so sends a strong message to our students that they are safe and welcome to be whoever they are at our schools. At a time when some school districts and other parts of the country are passing legislation in an effort to deny the basic right to exist of families, who don't fit in with their archaic, heteronormative ideals, I am so glad that my children and their friends live in an area where our school districts recognize and support all types of families and students. Thank you for demonstrating in this concrete way that our schools are proud of all of our students and that they deserve to be proud of themselves.
Thank you. Next speaker is Eden Magbilang, student.
Hi, my name is Eden Magbilang, and I am a queer student that attends Jefferson High School. I'm speaking in favor of flying the Pride Progress flags at school during the month of June. As a queer student, inclusivity at a school, a place where I spend quite a lot of my time, is very important to me. It is easy to feel invisible and scared in a community that you fear might not accept you for who you are. Flying the Pride flag at school would show support not only to students who attend that school, but anyone who passes by and sees it. Voting yes to fly the Pride Progress flag during the month of June would help students feel more safe and comfortable to be themselves at school. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker card I have is Paul Hagen, with comments from in care of Monica Casey, and he is the AFT 3267 president.
Hello. AFT 3267 stands in full support of this resolution and commends Board President Koo for bringing this resolution forward. I moved to San Francisco in the late 1970s at a time when gay men were being murdered in the streets for no other reason than they were gay. I mourned the loss of gay friends to AIDS while they were being told that they were suffering God's punishment for being who they were. We have come a long way since then, and I see flying the rainbow flag at all of our schools as a celebration of the progress that has been made, as well as a reminder that there is still much work to be done, and encouragement to our LGBTQ students and staff to stand tall. As the president of AFT 3267, I strongly urge the school board to approve this resolution. In unity, Paul Hagen, President AFT 3267.
Thank you. Are there any additional speakers on this item? Okay, thank you. If not, I'll return it back to the board. Do board members have any comments on this item? I'll start with Ms. Jordan since she's remote right now.
Sure, I am really excited to see this on the agenda. I myself am in support of this and I'm excited to vote yes to move this forward. As a person, a woman, and a Black woman, and as a minority in our community, I understand what it's like to be the outsider, to be the one that is different. And so I do think it's important to show our students, our staff, our administration that we are inclusive regardless of what we look like, who we love, and I'm excited to move this forward.
Mr. Harvey?
I just want to thank Eden for coming out tonight and having the courage to speak in front of all of us in that way. And we have your back.
I agree with everything that's being said tonight, and I wish everybody happiness and be success, just everything being right for them, because everybody is important. Your life and what you believe in and what you are, we respect it for everybody. We are all gonna have wings when we fly away. So just support each other and just be kind to everybody. Be kind. That's all. Be kind to everybody, no matter what the challenges are in their life. And be supportive. So, love everybody. Thank you.
We are not supposed to engage when public comment is happening, but it was hard to not clap and not feel the words that were shared this evening. 2 years ago, I lost my oldest son, who was a thriving, vibrant member of the gay community. And our annual tradition as a family was we would go and participate in the Pride Parade. And when we first started, it was just a handful of us. And up until the last one that we had with him before the pandemic hit, we ended up building a community of about 300 folks and got some supervisors to walk with us. And so for us as a community here in our school district to be able to create that space is so important, because we know in the LGBTQ community that sometimes in our very homes, that love and safety is not in place. So for us to create that and demonstrate the love that you shared, that flag represents, is not just symbolism. We are acting on it. So I want to thank you. I love that this is something we're able to do. Again, JESD continues to just step up to the forefront of things that are vital and important and that are reflective of this community. So I am in full support. that we raise this flag of love and pride this coming June. Thank you.
I think for me, it was, I think like a month ago, I was reaching out to our superintendent, bring up this idea of raising the pride flag at our school sites and seeing how feasible it was. And I think for me, I think it was a couple things. I think 4 years ago, or actually no, 5 years ago, our board passed a resolution in support of all students and all members of our community, regardless of gender, orientation, identity, and just different characteristics that were being attacked at the federal level by our president. So I felt for me, just kind of raising the flag, just showing a sign of our board support for members of the LGBTQIA plus community, making sure that our school district was showing its support as being an inclusive place, a safe place, an open place, but also allowing students and members of the community just to feel safe that by attending our schools, they're here and ready to learn, and that we're not going to judge them based off of how they look, how they are, who they are. And I think it's just an extra step to show our support and what we stand for, because I think hearing all the news across the country, even just early this year, regards to legislations passed in regards to sort of taking away rights of gay students, preventing them from being who they are, I think it just shows how much there still is a lot to do in this country. And I think just raising our progress flag across all of our school sites, hopefully might be a small thing, but at least can show members of the community that we support them and that we're there to help them every step of the way. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Other than that, I know this is not a resolution, so I was going to ask Mr. Vidalis, what are the actions required for this item?
So the action would be a motion to direct me to facilitate the flying of the flag in the month of June 2022. And, there's a couple things we have to do to get prepared for that. Our flagpoles currently can only fly 2 flags, so we need to replace the ropes to have some that are that can fly 3 flags. So as soon as you guys vote on it, then I can get moving on making sure we can put those up in the next couple of weeks.
Would anyone like to make an action on this item?
I'll make the motion to approve flying the Pride Progress flag during the month of June 2022 at the JESD facilities.
I'll second the motion.
Second.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 That was unanimous. Thank you, board. That was it. So moving along, item 8C, preschool indoor and outdoor environmental improvement. The administration recommends the governing board approve the purchase of supplies to support indoor and outdoor environments for preschoolers at General Pershing, Thomas Edison, John F. Kennedy, and Daniel Webster schools. The total amount is $101,983.26. The purchase will be funded by QRIS and Big Lift funds. Mr. Vidalis?
Sure. It's as explained there, we have some funds that we need to expend, and we want to improve the preschool environments both in the classrooms as well as outdoor, as we're seeing more and more that outdoor settings are preferable during this time of pandemic.
Do you know what the improvements are going to be?
Mr. Lauro can probably give us information on that. Here we go.
Mainly the outdoor improvements is what I'm interested in, but
Yeah,
whatever you know.
there's not going to be capital improvements, but more instructional materials, supplies, slides, things to do for them to be outdoors. Just improving the types of things that we can provide for our preschool program. the reimbursement rate was increased in January. So we have additional funds as well as a few different QRIS improvement grants. So we're just looking forward and working with Mrs. Amiga and try to utilize these funds by year end.
And then also, I was wondering, I know what Big Lift is, but what is a QRIS?
I'm forgetting the acronym. It's quality. I'm losing it right now. It's a grant that's geared in Fund 12 for child development, so preschool. I'm forgetting the acronym, but yeah, those funds, it rolls over year to year in our fund balance. But as we receive these funds, we try to budget it and try to get these things before year end or June 30th, so it doesn't spill into fiscal 22-23 budget.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? If not, this is an action item, so I'll entertain a action on this item.
Okay, I'll move that.
I'll make him. Go ahead. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve it. The preschool indoor and outdoor environmental improvement as presented.
Second.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, that was unanimous. Next item is item 8D, Local Control Accountability Plan LCAP updates. Ms. Pamela Scott, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, will provide an update on LCAP goals and make suggestions for additional metrics and activities for the 2022-2023 school year to be incorporated into the annual update. Ms. Scott.
Great. Thank you. It's been a big year, so just a heads up, I have a lot to share with you, so I thank you in advance for your attention and patience as I go through all this information. So I'll be providing you with an update of our LCAP goals, metrics, and actions. This plan was first developed during the 2020-2021 school year and is a 3-year plan. This is our review of the first year of its implementation. So while this year has felt more normal than the 2020-2021 school year, I do want to take a moment to highlight that really this year has been anything but normal. We've managed a full in-person return to school, weekly COVID testing, the continuation of safety protocols, the ebb and flow of COVID cases with resulting mandatory quarantines and isolation periods due to new variants, all while developing new accountability plans for the additional one-time funds received due to the pandemic. And then on top of all this, we were required to complete a federal program monitoring cycle, which occurred in January at the height of the Omicron variant. So have we all been a little challenged in new ways this year? Absolutely. And just as someone new to the district, I want to say that despite the enormity and the ever-changing landscape of our work, I have observed the JESD staff collaborate and support one another unlike anything I've ever experienced before. So I'm just very grateful to be here and to work around all these people. So we began this year's LCAP reflection and revision starting in April, and that process will continue until we present the final plan on June 22nd to the board for approval. And here is a timeline of the outreach to date. We have initial data back from our LCAP staff survey. The LCAP family survey was mailed out on Monday, so I will include those results at an upcoming board meeting. Here are the percentages of staff who have completed the survey to date. All right, so now let's review the accomplishments, outcomes, collected feedback, and proposals for each of the 5 LCAP goals. So goal 1 is to prepare students to pursue college or career once they graduate from high school. I'm going to highlight 3 accomplishments for Goal 1. Number 1, returning to school full-time in person. This supported our work in the following ways. Staff could better assess and address student learning needs. As predicted, our data indicated that the pandemic and the year and a half of distance learning has impacted students academically, socially, and behaviorally. The FastBridge assessment screener administered at the beginning of the year helped identify student interventions and supports. Needing additional data, we piloted a new ELA standards-based interim assessment in grades 3 through 5 to better assess current learning needs and to guide instruction and interventions. Student access to technology is now more consistent, and the use of technology as a learning and teaching tool is more streamlined. And students have once again gained access to PE and art and music and other enrichment activities. And number 2, ethnic studies completed their second year of curriculum and implementation at the middle school and began their first year of work for the elementary level. And number 3, our district is no longer identified as significantly disproportionate in our identification of Hispanic students for special education. Through the hard work of our special education department and our special education teachers, our processes have been improved and we are no longer a significantly disproportionate district. Our work to address Tier 2 and Tier 3 needs of our students in the general education setting prior to any recommendation for special education assessments continues through both of our CSACE plans. So let's look at a few outcomes, or one outcome. So these 2 new assessments that I spoke of earlier were given in November and February. I'm highlighting just the overall grade level outcomes. These are standards-based common assessments, again in grades 3 through 5. Sites were able to access the data not only by overall, but by standard, by grade level, and across schools for comparison. We're pleased to see the growth and commend the teachers in grades 3 through 5 for their dedication to review the data and make informed decisions regarding their pacing and instruction. And here are the results from the staff survey question in relation to goal number 1. Some common themes gathered from the feedback for goal 1. Staff suggest that we share assessment data in a usable format, that we increase enrichment opportunities like STEM, art, music, design, building, etc., that we elevate a focus on standards and curriculum, and that we expand ethnic studies for all students. So our proposals moving forward are an additional metric, an additional action, and a revised action for our Lcap. The first, the additional metric, is a standards-based assessment data. In collaboration with our district leadership team, we determined this year a need for a more comprehensive assessment system, a key element of MTSS. Currently, we use the FastBridge assessments, which provides schools and teachers with detailed student skill information, but we uncovered a gap in district-wide common assessments specific to the state standards. Therefore, we want to expand our grade 3-5 pilot to grades 3-8 next year in both ELA and ELD. Common math standards assessments would be given the following year. This new data will be added now as an additional metric to our Lcap goal number 1. An additional action are funds provided for the additional elective offerings for all middle school students. In order to provide equitable access for all EL students to the core courses, a finding from the Federal Program Monitoring Audit, we have collectively made a decision to reduce the 2-period ELA middle school block to 1 period in order to build in the required designated ELD class for our middle school students. To address the reduced ELA minutes, we will be working across all content areas to enhance their focus on reading and writing. This shift from 2 to 1 periods of ELA also means now all students will receive 2 elective classes. Over the past several months, principals have worked collaboratively with Ed Services and with their staff to identify new elective options such as robotics, code combat, world savvy, digital art, Minecraft, etc. So funding for these new classes will be an additional action in our Lcap Goal 1. And then finally, a revised action is the ethnic studies model. We are currently working with the middle school ethnic studies team to determine how best to move forward with the work they have completed over the past 2 years. We are meeting again this week, and I will include an update to the plan in my next board presentation. Okay, goal number 2, to improve the academic success of our English learners. So 3 accomplishments to spotlight for this goal. 1, we hired a new ELD director, Diego Zarate, who has been instrumental in designing structures and programs for our EL students and developing our EL master plan. Our ongoing PD with systematic ELD, Jessica Pace, Program Director of Teaching and Learning, has led PD this year on systematic ELD to over 100 teachers who have opted into this additional learning opportunity to better support our EL students. And 3, Imagine Learning. We continue to provide Imagine Learning for our students who have been in the country less than 3 years and for our students who have scored a 1 on the LPAC. Imagine Learning is an online adaptive learning solution that accelerates reading and language proficiency and is designed to supplement core literacy. It is part of both of our CSAS plans and is serving approximately 78 EL students across all school sites. So I want to highlight one of the Lcap metrics, the reclassification of our English learners. Reclassification is when an English learner becomes designated as English proficient. In reviewing our data over the past 3 years, we can see that the percentages of students reclassified took a dip during 2020-2021 school year. This is due to the lack of CASP and state-required data points. Our goal for the final year of our 3-year Lcap plan is to be able to reclassify 28% of our ELL students. And here are the initial staff results for the question posed for goal 2. So some common themes from the feedback is a need for a consolidated and coordinated system of district-wide interventions, a request to continue training for systematic ELD, to hire additional English language support teachers, and needed support at the middle school level for integrated ELD. So we have a revised action, and that action is to hire 10 EL support teachers. So one current action in our Lcap is to fund additional EL support teachers should funds become available. Our SR3 plan supports this action, and we propose a change in the Lcap language so that this goal reflects the new fund source. We are in the process of hiring 10 EL support teachers who will be allocated to each school site based on the numbers of level 1 and level 2 EL students. In addition, in support of the feedback that we received or in response to the collected feedback, but one that does not require a change of our language, we are introducing a new platform, online platform next year to the 3, 6, 8 middle schools and 2 elementary schools, Tobias and Woodrow Wilson. And this platform is called Elevation. Through the use of this platform, teachers will learn strategies to differentiate instruction for students. Sites will collect data and monitor progress and these teaching strategies, and then reflect and revise for improved learning. Okay, goal 3. So provide ongoing professional learning for all staff. Again, I'm going to highlight 3 accomplishments from goal 3. Number 1, the district leadership team district instructional leadership team consisting of 2 teachers and 1 administrator per school site met monthly this year to review the new California MTSS framework and to identify district bright spots and areas for growth. Universal Design for Learning, UDL, continues to provide monthly optional training for all staff. The goal of UDL is to use a variety of teaching methods to remove any barriers to learning. It's about building in flexibility that can be adjusted for every person's strengths and needs. The sessions are held virtually, and approximately 25% of our staff have opted in. And finally, teachers continue to be provided with 1 hour every Wednesday to collaborate with peers to improve their craft. So one metric for measurement of this goal is percentage of attendance at Institute Day. We are waiting on our August data. I will get back to you at our next meeting. In January was just for classified staff, and 78% were in attendance. And March was just for certificated. We had 87% in attendance. And here is the staff survey in relation to the question asked for goal 3. And some common themes collected from the feedback is more opportunities to collaborate across schools on practical implementation of the UDL guidelines. So our proposal is a revised action. The proposal is to change the structure of the district instructional leadership team. In order to elevate teacher voice and to engage all teachers in active collaboration, we are developing a new collaborative teacher leader team. These new teacher leaders will guide their district grade level or middle school content teams through collaborative activities that will improve and enhance learning for all students. Next year, these new teams will collaborate during each Institute Day. Ultimately, teams will work together in a cycle of continuous improvement to develop SMART goals, determine common assessments, share teaching strategies, reflect on student achievement, and determine PD needs as a collective team. With the development of these new teams, our district collaborative teacher leaders will replace our existing district instructional leadership team. Goal 4, increase customer satisfaction with respect to climate, safety, and schools. 3 more accomplishments to highlight for this goal. 1, we continue to partner with several outside agencies to provide students and families with needed resources. These include Circle Up, DC Partnership, Soul Shop, Gender Spectrum, and Star Vista. Stephanie Martinez, Program Director of Student Services, works tirelessly with all of these agencies and provides ongoing outreach to our families. In addition, she meets weekly with all school site counselors, oversees PBIS, school site teams, develops the panorama surveys, supports the implementation of our SEL, social emotional learning curriculums, and monitors our homeless and foster youth. Brent Valenti, Assistant Superintendent of HR, has been our guide for COVID-related safety protocols and is in constant communication with all staff regarding any updates or changes in procedures. His work, in conjunction to the absolutely incredible weekly COVID testing and parent communication on behalf of our site administrators and district nurses, has provided a safe learning environment for our community. Here is an update on one of our metrics, which is a survey of students in response to supportive relationships and sense of belonging. Our elementary students last year, 83% said they felt supportive relationships. That went up to 87% this year. Middle school last year was at 71% and went up to 81% this year. Sense of belonging, which is not It's understandable after what we've gone through. Elementary school dropped from 71% to 68%, and middle school from 48% to 45%. And I do believe that is a result of what we're living through with the pandemic. And here are the responses so far from the staff survey to the question related to Goal 4. And some common themes collected from the feedback is to elevate a focus on PBIS practices, conflict resolution, restorative practices, and to expand the youth cinema project. So our proposal is for a revised action, which is to expand the youth cinema project in a second elementary school as ELOP increases funding for after-school activities, which will free up funds in other budgets for this expansion. Our last goal, Goal 5, is to develop opportunities to bring the community together in support of our students and their successes. The 2 accomplishments to spotlight for this goal. 1, connecting with our families has definitely been more challenging this year given the conditions we are living through. School sites continue to offer ways for our families to connect, either virtually or in person. We have increased our translation contracts with both Language Links and Communicate in order to ensure all our families are included. Parents continue to have online access to the students' school information through our parent portal. And 2, our ongoing partnerships with AFT and PTAs continue to remain strong. Our family survey will be sent out this week, and I will share that new data at an upcoming board meeting. And these are the current staff results of the question asked in relation to this goal. And a few of the feedback themes that we collected: support more opportunities to connect with families, and a parent liaison to build events tailored to our community. And one that I forgot to put up there is a workforce housing liaison to work in partnership with community on development of eligibility criteria, governance structures, and other workforce housing matters. And that leads to the additional action for Goal 5, is to hire a workforce housing liaison. In order to move forward on the board's goals to provide a workforce housing opportunity, the district needs to create resident eligibility criteria and a structure to oversee the implementation of the workforce housing. We see that as a 1-year part-time administrator assignment to facilitate the development and implementation of the guidelines, eligibility criteria, and other concerns related to startup activities for the workforce housing development. And our next steps in the Lcap update process, we will incorporate engagement group feedback to finalize proposed actions. That's from families, staff, San Mateo County Office of Ed, and a variety of community groups. We will make sure that all our activities are aligned with our budget. We will post an Lcap draft to our district website by May 18th. We will have a final presentation to you as the board on May 25th. Then we'll have a public hearing and Lcap adoption on June 8th and June 22nd. And our final approved plan needs to be submitted to the San Mateo County Office of Ed by June 30th. I know that was a lot. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from board members or comments?
Okay, I have comments and questions as usual. First of all, my first comment is I noticed that you started off by highlighting the teachers and their collaboration. So I want to commend the teachers for that. Collaboration is a 21st century skill, and we want to model that to the students. So kudos to the teachers. Then thanks for your slides being, visually pleasing and not too dense, just a bunch of words. And you know, you had your separate script, so you're also modeling good presentation skills. I don't know how much that was Mr. Vidales. No? Okay. So for goal read 1, you were talking about reading and writing. So you're taking away the one block period from ELA. How much time, or how are the teachers that are not English language arts teachers, how are they going to be able to collaborate with the English language arts teachers to, I guess, help guide their curriculum?
So, you know, with the Common Core standards, the English language arts standards were also a part of the history and science content. So it's there already. So it's just helping those teachers make sure to include a focus on that. Our ELA middle school adopted curriculum study sync is really developed on a 50-minute period. It's a little bit longer than our 1 period, but it is designed really for a 1 period block. So I think we, you know, with that resource and with the additional support that we can provide our history and science teachers, I think we'll be doing good.
Mm-hmm. So for goal 2, you talked about raising, I guess, the percentage from 10% to 28% for the ELD or students that are, you know, English language developing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's the plan for that? I mean, I think you mentioned some of the action plan, but 10 to 28 sounds kind of like a lot to me. So
I think all of the supports that we have in place and continue to work on, there's an existing structure at the elementary schools with targeted instructional grouping. So continue to focus and making sure that our English learners are receiving the curriculum and teaching strategies that best support their English development. Again, the focus this year on systematic ELD, that curriculum and training provided by Jessica Pace has been phenomenal with so many teachers in attendance. So that will continue to support the teachers in meeting the needs of the EL students. And then the focus next year on both designated and integrated ELD and looking at specific strategies and having a continuous cycle of feedback and improvement for everybody to see how those strategies are helping to improve students. And then we have, of course, Imagine Learning. So all of those tools in place, you know, we'll continue to monitor and look at data to see if they are getting the results that we want.
Okay. And then for goal 3, the teachers being able to opt in for the Universal Design for Learning trainings, is there some type of incentive or reward that they get besides mastering their craft?
The teachers this year received a stipend, a per diem stipend for attending the additional monthly training.
Okay. And then goal number 4, Youth Cinema Project. I was very glad to hear about that people want to expand it.
Yeah.
I've always been a little bit afraid that you would want to cut it, you know. So that being said, how can we connect that more to the ethnic studies program? Because I know in the beginning, that was our intent. Some of us anyway was, until we got the ethnic studies program going, we thought that would be a good starting point. Is the Youth Cinema Project, the youth telling their stories. And actually the whole project was started because the brown youth down in you know, near Hollywood were not getting opportunities to be in the film industry. So that's connected to ethnic studies already, the founding of the program. So I'm asking everyone, how can we connect that more to our ethnic studies program?
I think that's a good.
So it's connecting it directly or making it the same class is probably more difficult than it is to say it. But what we are considering at this point is expanding to another elementary school site for a couple of years. And now that middle school has 2 elective periods, we can conceive of a 90-minute block for a youth cinema project in a middle school setting. That was one of the barriers that was holding us back. They needed a 90-minute block to be able to serve a middle school like they do elementary schools. And so we imagine in a couple of years, we'll have 2 pots of students graduating into a middle school that might be able to benefit from a youth cinema project offering as part of their electives. So we will explore that in the years ahead, but it's building block by building block. And, it's just another way, I would say, for students to express their identities and their pride in who they are and their stories that they carry with them.
Okay, yes, thank you. And then for goal number 5, since we're talking about community and connecting with the community, has there been any traction or, I don't know, reinvigoration on the progress towards founding a community school and using that model?
Well, there's a desire still for that, looking for the opportunities for that to happen. We hear that the state's providing more funds for it, but we haven't heard of the opportunities for it. So as soon as we do, we'll try to get traction on that. But our community partners like Daly City Partnership, they're, on the lookout also so that we can start to build at least one, if not more, community schools that can serve our kids with wraparound services at the school site.
All right. Yeah, because there's momentum right now in the community because of, COVID-19 and the pandemic, with more food distributions, getting people pop-up vaccination clinics, trying to combine the two. Wherever there's food being given away, let's get people vaccinated. So that is something that I was trying to put back on the radar for everyone's like, hey, we were ahead of this. Wanted to utilize the schools outside the regular school hours and to be, a place where people could get social services. So I'm just putting that back out there publicly so that we can talk more about it, talk with other school districts. And we've actually had some communication with the county superintendent, Nancy McGee, about this, and she supports it as well. So I don't have any more questions. And like I said, thanks for having a very professional and easy to understand and read presentation.
I can echo everything that's being said today. And I think that we probably should have some kind of a workshop or something we can invite parents, teachers, everybody who has a say or has some ideas of what we can do to really have a program that reaches out to each child. Because there's a lot that we have to do to make them successful, and it's up to us to plan it. So whatever we plan to do should make every child have hope and success, and they'll do better in their grades. All I can say, let's all work together as a team, and we can get help, and we can get people to support us, but we all have to agree to do it, and do it now. Do it now. Okay.
I think,
I'm supporting it.
Sorry, Trustee Brusuela, I thought you had completed your comments. My apologies. Trustee Ali actually covered 3 of the things that I was interested in learning more about. I too thought 10 to 28% was pretty ambitious, but I love your positive outlook and how you're saying that if the supports are the supports are in place in the system, that you're confident that we can reach that goal. I just want to echo my support in what I'm hearing. I appreciate the expansion of YCP. We definitely advocated for that, and I thank you, Superintendent Vidalis, for hearing us and looking at the numbers and making it happen, because it was pretty ambitious for us that first year. I think it was 75K we were looking at. So to hear that we're able to expand that tells me that's growth, because that was a goal. That was a goal for us to see that growth. And I like hearing bringing back to the table community schools and how we can look at alignment from YCP into ethnic studies, because I do believe there's a pipeline there. There's a pathway that's being developed, but I get structurally and internally that there's some pieces that I might not be aware of that's a little bit more difficult than just saying, just do it. But I just do want to echo my support to see how we can continue to have that conversation, because I would love to see how we can bring community schools back and have that conversation that we've had several years ago. It's been quite some time. So that's my 2 cents. So thank you. And thank you for I thought it was great too. I loved it. Thank you, Ms. Scott.
So let me just comment a little bit because it's come up twice on the goals for English language learners reclassification. So a realistic goal is 21 to 23%. You know, considering the number of English learners that we have coming into our district and how long it might take them to become reclassified, it's a 5 to 7 year process. So if someone starts with us in kindergarten, typically a 5-year process would make them so between 4th and 8th grade. So we've calculated it because once a student becomes reclassified, they fall out of the English learner category and they become a reclassified English learner. And so you're constantly working with the students that didn't get reclassified, right? So Dr. Joyner and I discussed this, and I said, well, a realistic aspirational goal is 22, 23%. And she says, well, why don't we up it another 5? Because that's like really aspirational. And I'm like, well, okay, I would be happy with getting to 23% because that would mean that we're being very efficient with our process. Every year, 23% of our students that are English learners become reclassified. Then they move out over here, and then we get a whole new crop of English learners. That would be, close to a quarter being reclassified would be a strong showing. So that's sort of where we arrived with 28%. And it was mostly Dr. Joyner wanting to push the envelope to say we can maybe do more. But we've, as you've seen, the pandemic and the assessments not being given on a regular basis, a lot of students have not been able to qualify based on the criteria needed, not because they're not there linguistically. And I think we'll see a crop of students being reclassified next year, maybe even getting close to 28%, but I don't think it would be sustained in the following year, just because we have a backlog of students that need reclassification right now.
So just one little follow-up to that. So would it, do you track like our success rate, or like how, like you said, it's averaging about 4 or 5 years. Is there a way we could report on that, the success rate, instead of just, yeah. I think,
We added a couple of metrics to this about how our ever English learners doing, those students who at any point had been an English learner, how are reclassified students doing once they've been reclassified, and following up on them. But you'll hear a little bit about our English master plan in the next presentation, so that might be a conversation to have then.
I was going to check, Ms. Jordan, did you have any comments or questions?
I do not.
Okay, cool. Any other comments or questions from board members? If not, thank you very much. Appreciate the presentation. Definitely thorough, detailed, and it's just kind of nice to have great detail for, so thank you. So that was just information. So I guess we'll see you again in the next meeting or so. Next item is item 8E, English Learner Service Department update. The English Learner Services Department Director, Mr. Diego Zarate, will present the JSD Master Plan for English Learner. This plan outlines clear procedural guidelines for identification, assessment, and placement of students, reclassification of students, notification and involvement of parents, the formation and function of the District English Learner Advisory Committee, DLAC, and Site English Learner Advisory Committees, ELAC, and the utilization of state and federal funds for EL program services. The administration recommends approval of the JESD master plan. Mr. Zarate.
Hello, good evening. First, let me reintroduce myself to you since it's the first time we get the chance to be in person together. My name is Diego Zarate. As was mentioned, I'm the new ELD program director. I'm very excited to be here today and to present to you for approval of the master plan. So before we start talking about the master plan or the details of the master plan, I would like to share with you some information about who and how many EL students we have in the district. Right now, as of May, about close to 2 out of 5 students in the district are considered EL students, which is an average of 38.4%. As was mentioned previously, 10.2% actually of EL students were reclassified as English proficient during the 21-22 school year based on academic performance on the previous school year, 2021. And as of right now, as of May, 3,147 students in the district are considered ever EL student. Ever EL student is a classification that the state uses, and ever EL student means EL student, current EL students, and all those students who were EL students at some point, but had been reclassified as English proficient. So before we go into the master plan, I would like to share with you why it's important to have a master plan. And the main reason is to have a clear procedural guideline for all the processes that we have in place with regards to academic education of EL students. For instance, processes with the identification of EL students, assessment and placement of students, the reclassification of those students once they become English proficient, notification and involvement of parents, how parents are being notified of students' progress, student identification, student reclassification, and so forth. Also, the formation and the functioning of both committees, the District English Learner Advisory Committee, DLAC, and the Site English Learner Advisory Committee, ELAC. One very important point as well, the teaching credential requirements as stated by the California state, and the state and federal funds for EL program and services. So as you can see, the document is quite lengthy. However, what I would like to highlight today are the 5 chapters that are included in this master plan. As chapter 1, the instructional programs available for all English learners. Some of the topics included in that chapter are who are English learners, what are the definitions, what are the definitions for a newcomer, what is the definition for an EL, what is the definition for an long-term EL, definition for at-risk, long-term EL, every ELs, and so forth. Also, what are the instructional programs that we are currently offering for elementary students and for middle school students? What are the standardized testing that the students participate in? And what kind of accommodations students are provided by for being EL students? In chapter 2, with regards to identification and reclassification, we have a description of what the enrollment process is from the moment a student enrolls all the way to the student graduates from Jefferson Elementary School District. including, for example, what is the reclassification requirements for EL students and what are the reclassification requirements and options for English learner students with disabilities. In Chapter 3, we have some information on community engagement and connection. Again, the detailing or explaining the communication between the school and the parents and families, and also the participation opportunities that parents have, including some of the committees that I mentioned before, such as ELAC and DLAC. And Chapter 4 includes the professional learning for, or details the professional learning for teachers servicing EL students, both at the district level and at the site level. And lastly, Chapter 5 talks about the meeting the legal and compliance requirements by both the state and the federal level. For example, the authorization that teachers need to meet in order to teach EL students, and how school districts can utilize fundings or funds provided by both the state and the federal level. So as you can see, the document that you have in front of you and you have access electronically as well is quite lengthy. Today I just want to introduce to you the structure, the basic structure of the document, and just provide the document to you for consideration for approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Rate. Any questions or comments from board members?
What are you most proud of?
What I'm most proud of, the commitment that teachers have into providing the services EL students need, the supports that we are providing to all our EL students district-wide. And those are two of the few things that I'm very proud of.
Thank you.
That's what, thank you. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Ms. Jordan, did you have any comments or questions? I think it sounds like, thank you very much for the presentation. Appreciate the master plan. I know this is an action item, so if there are no other additional comments or questions, I will entertain a motion or an action on this item.
I move that we approve the master plan for English learners.
Second.
First and second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous. Thank you very much, Mrs. Rate. Moving along, next item is item 10A, certificated retirements 2021-2022. The administration recommends approval of the retirement requests from the following certificated staff members and requests appropriate resolutions be prepared commending them for the years of service with the district. Paul Hagen, 6th grade SS and WL teacher at Ben Franklin, effective June 11th, 2022. Mr. Hagen has been employed by the district since May 9th, 1988. And Jenny Hart, 3rd grade teacher at Westlake Elementary, effective June 11th, 2022. Ms. Hart has been employed by the district since September 2nd, 2011. Mr. Valenti.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just a couple of words, both to Ms. Hart and Mr. Hagen, for all their years of service to the community, to the students, to the families, and the staff of the schools. I want to please, honor the hard work they've done for all these years, and it hurts to recommend their resignations and retirements, but I do understand it and would make that recommendation. For Mr. Hagen, who is both a personal friend of mine and a longtime colleague, when I did my little math here, and he's been working with our district here since 1988, the year after I graduated high school. 34 years. It's just what a commitment he's had to the district. He's probably a person that I see, he probably feels human resource needs just as well as I do. I know he and I often have many conversations about things going on, and the work we've done together with him, his team, and his predecessor, Ms. Dart, as well, building a relationship as partners with our colleagues that way has just been incredible. So with both he and Ms. Hart, to please consider and approve their retirement requests.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from board members? If not, I will entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion, but I, like you, Mr. Valenti, wish we didn't have to make this motion. Mr. Hagen, I've had, since I've been on the board, I've learned a lot from him. I've leaned on his wisdom, but I believe that he will stay engaged in this work, probably even more so in his retirement.
Right.
So I will make the motion. As stated here, that the administration recommends approval of the retirement requests for Paul Hagen and Miss Jenny Hart, and that appropriate commendations will be prepared for the both of them.
I'll second that motion.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 That was unanimous. And congratulations, Mr. Hagen and Ms. Hart, on your retirement.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Next item's item 10B, Certificated Resignations 2021-2022. The administration recommends acceptance of the following resignations and requests appropriate resolutions be prepared, commending those with 10 or more years of service with the district. Christina Crisostomo, teacher on unpaid child care leave of absence, of resignation effective April 15th, 2022. Ms. Crisostomo has been employed by the district since August 24th, 2009. Loretta Ford, fifth grade teacher, Garden Village, resignation effective June 10th, 2022. Ms. Ford has been employed by the district since August 20th, 2012. Jenny Freeman, eighth grade English social science teacher at FDR, effective June 10th, 2022. Ms. Freeman has been employed by the district since August 15th, 2019. Chloe Stein, fifth grade teacher at Westlake Elementary, resignation effective June 10th, 2022. Ms. Stein has been employed by the district since August 16th, 2018. Jessica Murray, fifth grade teacher on unpaid child care leave of absence, Garden Village, resignation effective April 20th, 2022. Ms. Murray has been employed by the district since August 15th, 2015. Brian Wan, fourth grade teacher at Thomas Edison, resignation effective June 10th, 2022. Mr. Wan has been employed by the district since August 15th, 2015. Benjamin Romo, fifth grade teacher at Thomas Edison, resignation effective May 2nd, 2022. Ms. Romo has been employed by the district since August 13th, 2015. Michelle Bocheman, kindergarten teacher at Dan Webster, resignation effective July 16th, 2022. Ms. Bocheman has been employed by the district since August 18th, 2014. And Dennis Lee, seventh grade math and computer teacher at FDR, effective June 10th, 2022. Mr. Lee has been employed by the district since August 16th, 2018. Mr. Valenti.
Yes, sorry. Again, we're so fortunate. I mean, these folks here, their faces are what I see. I notice their name, but it's the faces that stand out to me. And while I regret having folks go in different directions and forge their own path, I do understand and recommend the acceptance of the resignation requests and thank them for their years of service.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from board members? If not, I will entertain a motion on this item.
I move that we accept all the before mentioned certificated resignations.
Second. Second motion.
First and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous, and thank you very much for all of your services to our district. So next item is the item that was pulled, 10C, Hire Certificated Personnel 2021-2022. The administration recommends hiring the following certificated personnel: Catherine P. Newsom, RSP teacher at Ben Franklin, temporary status, effective April 12th, 2022, CLS 3B, step 16. Mr. Ali, you asked to pull this item?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to, we're in a teacher shortage. We have a substitute shortage, so I thought it would be fitting to slow down and actually thank these people for taking on this job. So I move that we approve the, I guess, how will we say it? I guess we just.
Catherine Newsom?
Yes, so we approve the hiring of Catherine P. Newsom, RSP teacher.
Second?
There's a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 That was unanimous, and welcome, Ms. Newsom, to our district.
Thank you.
Next item is item 10D, hire certificated substitute teachers 2021-2022. The administration recommends hiring the following certificated substitute teachers at the rate of $171 per day: Stephanie Bernstein and Kiana Lynn Hoshi. Mr. Ali?
Yeah, same thing. We appreciate people applying for these jobs at this time. So I like to move that we approve the hiring of Stephanie Bernstein and Kiana Lynn Hoshi.
Second.
First and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 That was unanimous. And welcome to our district again as well.
Thank you.
I did have a small question
Sure.
for Mr. Valenti. It's saying that this is a temporary status and the teacher's at step 16. So it sounds like this person is really helping us out in a pinch or something.
Yeah, so we've been one RSP teacher short the entire year, and with several of our long-term leads for a variety of reasons, we've been tapping, and thank you to those teachers that have been doing this. Teachers have had to expand the number of sites they've been serving, in some cases up to 3 sites. So we've had to kind of tweak schedules, and some of these folks are also not returning full-time next year. So while we were able to get Ms. Newsom to fill this position, which will extend into next year, come next year, we're going to have to still find another 0.6 because of the reduction of the other teachers who are out on leave. So she came out of the clouds at the perfect time, and she's really stepping up, and she's also eager to support us in our extended school year program as one of the administrators having their she has an administrative credential as well. So it's been really in a pinch, and thank you.
Thank you. Next item is item 10F, Declaration of Need for Fully Qualified Educators 2022-2023. The California Commission on Teacher Credentialing requires the governing board to vote annually to approve the attached Declaration of Need, certifying there may be an insufficient number of certificated persons. Mr. Valenci.
Yes. So every year, in order to be granted emergency permits or limited assignment permits for any eligible teachers that we may need as a district, the California Commission on Teacher Credential requires that the governing board take action to vote that there may be insufficient number of credentialed persons. That way, we can go ahead and apply for the appropriate waivers. So for next year, we're estimating the need for approximately 11 emergency permits in different credential areas. And if we don't need as many as 11, that's great. And if we need more, then we have to return to this.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from board members? No. If not, I will entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make the motion to approve the declaration of need for fully qualified educators 2022-2023.
Second.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was unanimous. Next item is item 10G, CBES Waiver Declaration 2022-2023. The governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District declares that the district is unable to recruit teachers and a substitute who have not had an opportunity to take and pass the California Basic Skills Test, CBEST. The district anticipates employing 4 substitutes and 5 teachers on variable term CBEST waivers. Ms. Valenti again.
Yes, thank you. Similar to the declaration of need, we do have several teachers, both currently employed as well as others that are likely coming down the pike, that have yet to pass the CBEST. And in order for us to engage with them and able to get those eligible candidates waivers for the CBEST, the board does need to declare that the district may be unable to recruit teachers that have, or substitutes have not had the opportunity to pass the CBEST. And so this is something we do on an annual basis.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from board members?
No, I'm happy to see this, that we're doing this, because it's really important. And it's a pathway. As we all know, living in this area is very expensive. People can't afford to come here and get a house and even pay for an apartment. So whatever we can do to help keep our good teachers coming into our district, we have to make it affordable. We have to reach out to them. So I'm in favor of anything we can do to help them out. Let's do it.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, I will entertain a motion on this item.
Thank God my house is paid for.
Did you want to make the motion?
Oh, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
First and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous. And thank you, Mr. Valenti, for all the answering all the questions. Actually, you're not. There's more coming.
Not over yet.
11A, classified personnel retirement. The administration recommends approval of the retirement request from the following classified employee and requests an appropriate resolution be prepared commending her for years of service with the district. Roberta Libran, HR specialist, certificated district office, date of hire January 2nd, 1996, effective December 30th, 2022. Mr. Valencia again.
Again, one of those recommendations I regret having to make, but Roberta, who has been with us for so long, and I remember from my days when I was still in the classroom here as a human resource specialist, she's the person that makes it happen. Those 2 items that the board just recently approved, those are typical things that she needs to deal with in order to get folks teaching, being in a job like we do, having to have our permits. She's my friend, she's my colleague, she's somebody I depend on so much. And while we still got a few more months with her, and I think we'll see her around after that, I regrettably but happily recommend her approval for her retirement come December 30th of this year, and any commendations that are connected to that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I was shocked to see Roberta's name here tonight. And Paul, I didn't get to say, cheers to Paul, enjoy. But also Roberta, she was here when I applied years ago as a substitute teacher in this district. And yeah, she was the HR person back then. So I really appreciate everything that she's done for this district. Okay.
Thank you. I agree with you.
Any other comments, questions? If not, I will entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make the motion to approve the certificated retirement of Roberta Librand and wish her well.
I'll second it.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 That was unanimous, and congratulations, Ms. Libran, on your retirement as well. Next item is item 11C, employment classified personnel. The administration recommends approval of the following classified employees. Probationary Juan Acuna Funes, Custodian number 3 at Fernando Rivera, $23.29 per hour, 8 hours a day, 12 months a year, effective May 2nd, 2022. Substitute Leanne Hughie, noon yard supervisor, $15.53 an hour. SCIA, $21.75 an hour. School administrative assistant, $23.98 an hour. Office assistant number 1, $19.74 an hour. Instructional assistants for special education, $18.77 an hour. Instructional assistants for PE, $17.89 per hour as needed, effective April 26, 2022. And substitute Kimberly and Jose Guevara, SEIA, $21.75 an hour. Instructional assistant for PE, $17.89 an hour. Attendance tech, $22.29 an hour for office assistant number 1, $19.74 an hour school administrative assistant, $23.98 an hour as needed, effective April 22nd, 2022. Mr. Ali, you also presented the pool?
Yes, thanks, President Koo, for reading all of that. And
It's like the Personnel Commission meeting.
We don't have to make them.
but, you know, similar to my accolades for the teachers, I also have to commend these support people, especially you said SCIA, but we call it SKIA. Some SKIAs do work that no one else would do, and they do, one-to-one work. I'll just leave it at that and recommend that we approve all of these hirings.
Second.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you all very much.
Cool. Miss Jordan, did you vote?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Next item is item, Ms. Badals, thank you for answering all those questions for us. Thank you for answering all the questions. Next item is item 12A under Board Policy Administrative Regulations. Board Policy Administrative Regulations, December 2021, CSBA Board Policy Updates and Administrative Regulations 6115, Ceremony and Observances, first reading. The board review and revise board policy administrative regulations from December 2021, CSBA board policy updates and administrative regulations 6115, ceremonies and observances as stated in a first reading. Mr. Vidalis, anything specific?
No, nothing specific. These are updates related to laws that were passed at the state level. The one around ceremonies and observances, that just makes it clear that the flags that fly on our flagpoles are government speech or so the speech of the school board and is not public speech. So it just makes that clear.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from board members on the policies presented tonight? Cool. If not, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I move that we approve the first reading of board policy and administrative regulation updates from December 2021.
Second.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Cool. That was unanimous. Next item is item 13, persons wishing to address the board on unagendized or closed session items. This portion of the agenda is available for individuals to comment on or address the board on any issue that is under the board's jurisdiction and not on the agenda or an item addressed in closed session. Maximum time allowed for any speaker is 2 minutes. Are there any speakers? Cool. First speaker is Christy Lopez, parent.
And my son's attend Benjamin Franklin here. That's okay.
So,
I'm here.
could you repeat? Could we reset the clock? Cool. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
My name is Christy Lopez, and my sons attend Benjamin Franklin Middle School. I'm here again to address another issue that occurred this week at the school. Yesterday, I received text from my son telling me there is something bad going on regarding the petition pertaining to the removal of Sam Passero that the students were trying to circulate. I immediately drove down to the school to see what was going on. I got to the school, my boys explained to me what had happened. They said 2 of their friends were pulled out of class, questioned, backpacks were searched, and threatened by telling them if they did not produce the petition that their parents would be called. This intimidation tactic resulted in them being in fear and in tears. One of the students produced the petition and said that they would rather take other consequences, yet their parents were still called. I saw Miss Hansen on the blacktop and asked her if she could tell me what was going on. We proceeded to her office along with Miss Carrion, and she told me that the students were fine and the petition was given to them voluntarily. I explained to them that this was not within their right, that this was within their rights, and they cannot seize a petition from a student and they have every right to assemble, meet, protest, petition, air grievances, as long as it does not disrupt class time or is obscene or slanderous. This meeting went back and forth. They also told me that this issue was under the directive of the superintendent's office, later to find out that it was in fact Brent Valente. California Education Code 48907 states that the students of the public schools, including charter schools, should have the right to exercise their freedom of speech and the press, including but not limited to the use of bulletin boards, the distribution of printed materials or petition, and so on. I ask why a parent is responsible for bringing this to the attention to the school administrators and the superintendent's office. Ben Franklin Intermediate School continues to have leadership issues, and this is a clear violation of the students' First Amendment rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Lorenzo Lopez, student.
Is it all right if I remove my mask while I'm speaking? I would like to thank the board for their time this evening. Yes. Excuse me?
Sorry, could you speak closer to the mic? Could we also reset the clock again? I apologize.
Would this be close enough?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Wait 1 second. We're going to reset the clock for you.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is true what my mother said just now. It was a day or two that we started a petition to remove Mr. Passero from office, and I must say that all the students were very much happy to put their signature forward. We feel that Mr. Passero and the leadership he has brought to the school has failed us all and is a great disservice and injustice to everyone this year. I understand that kids will always have a resentment towards greater authority, but it is when the leader is discourteous in his manner do I find this resentment justified. We have started a petition before to bring back our Great America trip, and during the week that we campaigned, not once were we told what we were doing is wrong. In fact, Mr. Passero himself was very proud of our efforts, claiming that it was the democratic process. But this time around, we were faced with much pushback. We were called into classrooms, we had our bags searched, and when we did not comply to handing over to the petition, we were under the threat of our parents being called. I believe this goes against our First Amendment rights, and I'm very happy that I'm going to be able to present this to the petition to the board this evening because it was confiscated for a period of time yesterday. And by Mr. Passero claiming that he was proud of our efforts and the democratic process, I must say that it is a great hypocrisy by him saying this when he tries to shut down our efforts to express our voices during this time. It is for these reasons that this petition was started in the first place, and it is for this reason why we have lost our faith and respect in his leadership, because we believe that we are entitled to a better standard than this. Thank you. Could I also give this to you guys?
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Alonzo Lopez, student.
Is this? All right, is this close enough? Good. All right, I'm Lonnie, and I go to Ben Franklin. I'm a student there. I'm here to talk about the situation that happened yesterday at Ben. 2 students were interrogated, searched, and threatened by Miss Carrion and Miss Hanson, the dean and vice principal at Ben. They were looking for the petition that was created to get rid of the principal, Sam Passero. Well, Miss Carrion and Miss Hanson were talking with my mother in their office. Mr. Passero was letting them deal with the situation and didn't have a care in the world. I would say that there is no respect for Mr. Passero, but after the events that unfolded yesterday, there is no respect for the entire administration. Also, there was a fire set by 2 students in the girls' bathroom. I haven't seen anything or heard anything about punishment or reprimands to the students. There's no leadership at this school, and people want things done. The petition has almost 300 signatures of willing students that want Mr. Passero gone. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Carlos Lopez, parent.
You wanted me to remind you that there's actually 367 signatures. Good evening, board, superintendents. We, the undersigned parents and students of Benjamin Franklin Intermediate School, petition for the removal of Mr. Sam Passero from his current position as principal. Mr. Passero's leadership has created an unsafe school climate and has negatively impacted the learning environment. We cherish our school and its legacy. The following concerns address reasons why we no longer have confidence in Mr. Passero's leadership at Ben Franklin. He has no control of the students who refuse to go to class. These students roam the halls unsupervised and disrupt class learning by pounding on lockers, running through the hallways to escape authority. Mr. Passero repeatedly speaks to the students and staff in a condescending and disrespectful manner. These are all things I said last month, and nothing's changed. Mr. Passero does not help anyone with problems that the children have in school. Mr. Passero administered no consequences to students who act egregiously in manners such as throwing objects at teachers and staff members, swearing at teachers and staff and administrators, blatantly disrespecting and ignoring orders from staff and administrators, or cutting class to go off campus. Mr. Passero addresses female students inappropriately, calling them babe, baby, and baby girl. He also mishandled complaints of a sexual harassment and assault incident by not giving consequences to the perpetrator. Last month when we brought all this up, I was told that things were going to happen. A month later, only thing that happened was the restrooms were opened up for all the kids to use. So not only is Mr. Passero failing the school, but it seems like the superintendents are failing the parents and students of the school. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Kathy Stanley, teacher.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Kathy Stanley. I'm a teacher at Ben Franklin. This has been a very sad, stressful, and terrible year at Ben Franklin for our students and teachers. Mr. Passero is a bully. He likes to intimidate, harass, and bully students and teachers. Our students went through a very hard year with COVID and distance learning. They needed to return to a safe and secure environment. Instead, they have told me that they do not feel safe. Many of them have asked me throughout the year, and this is many students, Ms. Stanley, why did they hire Mr. Passero? Didn't they Google him? The students witnessed daily how out of control our school has gotten under his leadership. I have been a teacher at Ben Franklin for 33 years, and never have I witnessed the utter chaos that is our school. You will find students not going to class and wandering our campus, interrupting classes, yelling, running, throwing things, jumping over fences, leaving campus. Only yesterday, a few students set a fire in the girls' bathroom. The administration does not supervise the hallways or the blacktop between or during classes as they should. You will find 100 students on the blacktop with no supervision at the beginning of lunch and after school. The PE department has documented this over and over again. Just today, it was documented again. For 5 minutes, no one was on that lunch yard, not one adult. Our number one priority should always be safety of our students. It is not. At the beginning of January, 4 female teachers, including myself, went to the district office and had a meeting with Brent Valenti and Pam Scott. We each told them of the specific harassment and bullying done to us by Mr. Passero. The district did not follow up, failed to check in, and rather left us with a bully harassing us. I personally am very hurt. I have given service to this district for 33 years. All the other teachers that were with me together over 60 years. Mr. Passero has been at Ben Franklin for 1.5 years, and half of that was on Zoom. Yet the district's allegiance seems to be with Mr. Passero.
I'm sorry, Ms. Stanley. Would you be able to finish soon? We just want to make sure that
Yes,
everybody has equal
I'm just
time.
about done. The district is protecting Mr. Passero, we all feel in our community at Ben, for some reason, and we can't figure out why. Why is he trumping all of us? It's just a $64,000 question why this continues to go on and on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Annette Vaughn, teacher.
Hello, my name is Annette Vaughn. I'm a teacher at Ben Franklin Middle School, and I've been there for just about 28 years. I concur with what I've been hearing, and I wanted to say it from a different perspective. I am in what I call the fishbowl classroom. I am privy to seeing what goes on all day from 8 in the morning until I leave school. It is consistent and constant chaos in the halls. There is nobody monitoring. When kids do things that are inappropriate, I do not see any type of consequence other than within 3 minutes, they're back wandering the halls again. We have had, again, as we've been said, we've had teachers have things thrown at them. We have had things thrown into classrooms. On Wednesday, we had a fire set in the bathroom, as has already been stated. The teachers are feeling very frustrated. We're very tired. We've been working very hard. We've come back from an impossible situation with COVID, and yet we came through. We did everything that was asked of us, and we did it with love, and we did it with strength. To come back to a school and to deal with this type of environment is ridiculous. This should never be happening. In the years that I've been at Ben Franklin, I have never seen ever this type of chaos. It is chaotic on a continual basis. It's very concerning. Students can't learn. You talk about all these new Lcaps. How are they going to learn when they're being consistently disrupted on a daily basis? And it goes on all day. Oftentimes the same students over and over and over again. This has been going on since the beginning of the school year. This is not new. All I keep hearing is, we have a plan. And I keep asking over and over again, the plan's not working. What are we going to do now? So I ask you, what is the plan? How are we supposed to deal with this? In addition to that, teachers are being let go. The way that I found out that I could be losing my position was through an email to the staff, not a one-on-one communication, not a talk, nothing. Just here's the staff email. One of you three have to go in our science department. We are all 3 tenured teachers. We deserve way more respect than that. And I'm really, really shocked, and I feel very disrespected by that in general. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Sibilio Aquino, teacher.
My name is Cecilio Aquino. I'm a physical education teacher at Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin should be a safe haven for our students, but it is not. During the course of the school year, Mr. Passero and his administration has failed to keep the students safe. I have personally witnessed students cutting class or leaving the school without permission on different occasions. For example, during my lunch, I saw a 6th grade student climb over the back gate that leads to outside of the school campus. I called out the student's name, but the student ignored me and continued to run away. 2 weeks ago, 2 6th grade girls left campus and went to the Starbucks in Westlake without permission, and nobody knew. Other teachers on many occasions have watched students leave campus without permission. Once a student leaves the school without permission, the child is no longer safe. Who knows what can happen to that child outside of school, and therefore the school is liable. Because so many students cut class and wander the school grounds all day, every day, they found themselves in the PE teaching areas. They come into the gym while we taught, disturbing the students' learning. They came onto the blacktop and into our class, disturbing the teachers' teaching and students' learning. This happened over and over again, week after week, month after month. In conclusion, in the 5 years I've been at Ben Franklin, it has been an excellent school. However, under Sam Passero, our school has become a school in chaos. The students and staff are in favor of replacing this principal. Please give us a new one. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is, I apologize if I say the name wrong, Tara Moisney, teacher.
Okay. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Tara Moxney, and this is my 15th year working as an ELA teacher at Benjamin Franklin. During my tenure, I really enjoyed my time teaching at Ben, and it felt like a valued member of the community. Unfortunately, this changed when Mr. Passero became our principal. Despite the fact that this was not my observation year, Mr. Passero spent several days observing my classes and stayed for the entire 90-minute block. While I understand administration has the right to observe me anytime, the amount of attention Mr. Passero gave to my classes seemed excessive given the fact that the same focus was not given to teachers who he was tasked to evaluate this year, including 2 brand new teachers who would have benefited from receiving some support. Over the years, I have not received one negative evaluation from the many administrators who have observed me. Mr. Passero was the outlier. His notes to me from an observation he did on Zoom while we were in the height of the pandemic were scathing and false. During a debrief meeting this year, he again presented only a negative analysis of my teaching. I received no positive feedback, and more importantly, no suggestions for how to improve. Additionally, Mr. Passero asked me to submit my lesson objectives and content standards for an entire month. No other ELA teacher was asked to do the same, and I received no follow-up. I do not know why I was singled out, but I do know that I felt bullied and targeted, and I am not alone. My students also felt very uncomfortable under the intense scrutiny as Mr. Passero sat in the back of my room typing on his computer for 2 periods. The Ben community deserves much better. Thus, I urge the board to take action. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Julia Gessen, teacher.
Good evening. My name is Julie Gessen, and this is my 4th year teaching at Ben Franklin. For most of the school year, I have been very concerned about the stress and anxiety that many teachers at Ben Franklin are unnecessarily subjected to. It has been a very difficult year with our students returning 100% after COVID restrictions and isolation, as well as after losing 3 members of our team last fall. During this trying year, when both teachers and students needed support and encouragement more than ever before, many of my colleagues got exactly the opposite. I have witnessed some teachers cry on almost daily basis because they have been subjected to Mr. Passero's unfair and even cruel comments, judgments, and critiques. This resulted in low morale, as well as in medical and psychological issues such as headaches, insomnia, nightmares, anxiety, and general stress that many of them have experienced. At this moment, there are several veteran teachers seeking employment elsewhere because another year of such stress seems unbearable. I urge the district and the board members to take action before the district loses some of the best teachers. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is David Finn, teacher.
Hi, everybody. My name is David Finn. I've been a teacher at Ben, math teacher there for 7 years, and I've really grown to love the community at Ben. This year, I quickly began hearing negative stories about Sam Passero from my colleagues, as you've heard. Through these secondhand stories, I noticed a pattern of intimidation and disrespect. And I don't want to repeat what many of them are going to tell you and have told you, so I'll just tell you what I witnessed firsthand. 2 incidents anyway. One, I have asthma and my mom has cancer. She's undergoing chemotherapy, so I've been extremely anxious about being indoors with a lot of people, especially if some are unmasked, and that's why I've been watching this from my car. My students demonstrate our school value of respect by wearing masks in my classroom, even though they don't have to. And I asked fellow staff if they would please wear masks at a faculty meeting, and they did, but not all 100% of the time, so I grew uncomfortable, and I left to monitor the meeting remotely. I returned to go back to the meeting, but I immediately saw Sam sitting there unmasked, so I left again. I was later called into a meeting with Sam where he loudly and aggressively told me that many staff were upset with me because they wore masks like I asked, and I didn't even have the courtesy to stay. At the time, I asked him to please watch his tone with me. I was shocked to hear what he said, and I later confirmed that it was a lie. Nobody was angry with me. In the second incident, 5 minutes before school started one day, Sam walked into my classroom without a mask, and he refused multiple requests to please leave my classroom and talk to me outside. He ignored me and he began a phone or radio conversation maskless inside my classroom. After several minutes, I finally had to yell at him to get out so I could go in and get ready for my imminent class. He came out at that point and he told me not to yell at him and that he didn't appreciate it. My students show respect, but Sam often does not. So I sincerely hope that you will get us a principal who can build back a culture of safety, ownership, achievement, and respect, which are the values that we hold really dear at Ben. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is William West, teacher.
Evening, everybody. My name is Bill West, and I'm a social studies teacher at Ben Franklin. When I started Ben 25 years ago, the school always had a leadership team whose role was to discuss issues facing the school and to devise strategies to address these issues. This method of problem solving utilized the experience and expertise of all concerned. When Mr. Passero came to Ben, he eliminated the leadership team. This without any consultation of the staff. By doing so, he took away the school's primary means of communication and problem solving, which has led directly to many of the issues that you have heard about tonight. For example, one of the casualties of the elimination of the leadership team is the school-wide discipline policy. When we petitioned Mr. Passero to reinstate the leadership team, he refused to do so, saying, quote, "That ain't gonna happen," unquote. Mr. Passero's attitude is one of, "I'm going to do what I'm going to do." And he has gone as far as saying that if you don't like working at Ben, you can leave. This was a very similar outcome for the school's scheduling committee, whose purpose was to assist administration in creating the master schedule. The staff petitioned Mr. Passero to also reinstate this committee, but his response was, quote, "I have never been at a school where teachers have any say over the master schedule," unquote. The Ben community needs a leader who values experience and expertise and who realizes working collaboratively creates the best environment for our students to learn. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Samantha Tai, Ben Franklin science teacher.
Hi, my name is Samantha Tai. I'm a science teacher and a union rep at Ben Franklin. I grew up in this district and went to elementary school, middle school, and high school here in Daly City. And I'm a proud member of this community, in which I now serve as a teacher. I am continuing the statement from my colleagues. Principal Sam Passero and his administration use intimidation tactics to silence students and teachers. Intimidation tactics that include staring, stalking, raising his voice, disciplining students for expressing their freedom of speech, and disciplining teachers for speaking up. Yet, despite mounting evidence of Mr. Passero's harassment towards staff and students, Mr. Brent Valenti continues to defend him, going as far as attacking the credibility of some teachers who call Mr. Passero out for who he truly is, a bully. I feel betrayed by Mr. Valenti. I feel betrayed by this district. I do not feel welcomed or valued by this district in which I grew up in. This district This district I now serve. I urge the board members to take action and advocate for the Ben Franklin staff, students, and community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is Erin Bodwell, Ben Franklin teacher.
I'm still doing this for Erin. Okay. So Ms. Bodwell is a language arts teacher at Ben Franklin. And she couldn't be here today, but this is her statement. I'm Erin Bodwell from Ben Franklin. I have been privy to an unprecedented decline of student behavior and staff morale at our site. I understand the need for tender care after COVID quarantine, but the level of disrespect at our site is out of hand. I can elaborate, but I really wish to say, as a teacher of 18 years in middle school, please help us. We need guidance and discipline from our administration. We need support from every angle. Our administration has fallen far short of that, to the detriment of our student body. This will be a generational problem. I will stay in the trenches, fighting the good fight. I hate these analogies, but feel they are apt. Please understand that we are not here to gripe, but to be a part of the solution. This is again from Ms. Bodwell, our language arts teacher at Ben Franklin. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Colleen Golden, parent.
Good evening. My name is Colleen Golden. I am the spouse of a JESD educator and a parent of a former JESD student. The mission of the Jefferson Elementary School District states all students will be provided with a high-quality education in a safe and nurturing environment where each student demonstrates a spirit of respect, responsibility, and a commitment to academic and civic excellence. At Ben, all aspects of this mission statement are disregarded. Under Mr. Passero's watch, students are not safe. At any point, multiple students may walk into a classroom and disrupt the learning. The students may be loud or may cause property damage. Students may have items thrown at them or at their teachers. Students may be hit with food at lunch. Ben is not safe for students or educators. Mr. Passero is ineffective. A spirit of respect, which was previously a strength at Ben, is diminished due to the lack of discipline, follow-through, and negative school climate. Teachers are not respected by the administration. Mr. Passero intimidates, disrespects, and disregards the strong educators at Ben. He has created a combative climate where teachers do not feel comfortable. This is a pattern for Mr. Passero, as documented in 2 East Bay schools he previously presided over. The collaborative spirit that was once a strength at Ben no longer exists. Instead, it is a top-down system. Again, Mr. Passero is ineffective. Civic excellence, teaching students how to correctly express concerns to improve the quality of life on a campus, has been shut down. The administration has disregarded multiple student letters of concern, student petitions, teachers' letters, requests, and suggestions. Mr. Passero is the antithesis of the Jefferson Elementary School District mission statement. He has created an unsafe environment which lacks respect, responsibility, and tragically diminishes civic excellence. Our students deserve better. School board members, I thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. Ms. Kovaray, are there additional speakers for this item? No. Cool. Okay. I just wanted to just say thank you for all the comments tonight. I just want to note for the members of the public in attendance, as well as those watching online, that the board is legally not allowed to discuss or comment on any unagendized item on tonight's meeting or public comments made specifically. However, the board and the superintendent are listening to all of your comments, and we might bring them up for future discussion at a future meeting if necessary and appropriate to address them. So just want to let you all know that we have listened to your comments. Next item is item 14, governance team member comments, reports, and board meeting reflection. I will start off with our colleague on virtual, Ms. Jordan.
I just wanted to thank everyone for being there tonight. Apologies for not being there in person. I appreciate all of the presentations that we've had today, especially that of our students and the Youth Port Laureate, always putting things back to the reason why we're here on this board, and it is our students. So I, again, appreciate all of the presentations tonight, and I look forward to, closing out this school year pretty strong.
Mr. Ali?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to, excuse me, just remind everyone that we're not out of the pandemic, and although it can be confusing, the messages that are out there, people are still getting COVID. So there has been guidance from the county level, and I know that a letter was sent to all the superintendents. So there are guidelines for events, especially for large events. And the main thing that we need to remember is that try to have outdoor events if you can, especially if you're going to have a lot of people. And also to make sure if you have an indoor event, to open the doors and have a lot of circulation of air. You have to do that. And excuse me, there was an example of one high school. I'm not going to name the district or the schools, but one district had 2 high schools that had proms the same night. One school followed the guidance and the protocols, and they had no outbreak of COVID. People testing positive. The other school had no outdoor eating at their prom, People were not wearing masks, and I think they had over 100 students test positive for COVID. So I just wanted to put that reminder out there, excuse me, that the easing of restrictions around COVID right now are not based on health. They're based on politics, money, and people that want us, teachers and educators, to go to work so that they can go to work. So then I just want to reflect that I think that we're doing a good job still of keeping our focus on the best interests of the students.
Ms. Brasuela?
He pretty much said it all. I agree with that. And I don't know if we need to have more reaching out to the parents and the families and keeping them all updated on what's happening and how we need to get together. So maybe more information going out to the parents is really important to keep everybody safe. And there's ways to do it, and we maybe as a team we can have a workshop. We can put something together and reach out to everyone, because there are people that have their own reasons why they're not getting vaccinations, and I've already heard that it's better if we do it at our school site sometimes, because families will come together and do it. So let's work on that as our goal and make it happen. That's it.
Ms. Lingana-White?
Yes, looking at our meeting guidelines again, I'm looking at we will listen actively, communicate openly and respectfully. And as we said earlier, we cannot comment on what we receive off of the mic. But I want to share this as a parent that was frustrated not understanding the system. And I want to share this openly because learning is public. There's a protocol in place. Your comments do not fall on deaf ears, but some people are not aware of the protocol. I used to be that parent. I used to think when I come up to the mic and I share my comments that people sitting here need to respond. Unfortunately, we can't do that way. It's just the way it's set up, and I want to reiterate that for some people who are listening in or don't understand, that your comments do not fall on deaf ears. We are solution-driven, but we are solution-driven as a collective, as a district. The board works hand in hand with our administrators, and what we hear, we absorb, and we want to find solutions to what we're hearing. And that takes time. Sometimes it takes time. But I want to convey that. I just want to share that we're definitely hearing what's received. I also want to share openly that sometimes parents, community leaders reach out to us directly. And the protocol is when we receive that information, we facilitate that to our superintendent. Again, not that anyone's being ignored, but that is the process. And we will continue to do our part. I want you to hold us accountable. This is an I statement. I want to be held accountable to the standard that I heard of tonight. But with regards to COVID, I will say that a lot of people are picking up on allergies, and I'm one of them. That was one of the times I could not be here, is because I wasn't sure if I was sick or if it was just allergies. That's the other issue that we are facing in our communities, is that people are not really clear if they're fully sick. I just want to remind people, if you think you're sick, if you think you have a cold, please stay home. Just please stay home, because the research has picked up in my community alone, in the Pacific Island community. We have once again, we're at the top of the list in San Mateo County and in Alameda County. And so I just want to send that message home. If you've got a cold, you're feeling sick, outside of every other guidance that you've received here tonight, please stay home and consider everyone else's safety. I want to wish everyone well. There's a lot. This is a celebratory month for many families as we look forward to numerous graduations at every single level. And I want to thank all of the families, educators, school districts, and especially our students for finishing strong. So I wish you all well, and let's just continue to stay the course together. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vidalis, did you have any comments you want to make? No. For me, I wanted to also agree with Ms. Liangaway in terms of we'll listen actively and openly communicate openly and respectfully. I think in terms of some of the comments you heard tonight, as well as some of the conversations, I think we definitely did that tonight. So yeah, for me, that's it. Hoping everybody stays safe and healthy, especially with the recent rise in some of the COVID cases around here. So just want to make sure everybody's do the due diligence to stay safe and try not to get sick if they don't need to be out there in closed settings or indoor settings as well. So other than that, we will convene to closed session at 9:46 p.m. We'll take a 5-minute recess and just want to say thank you for everybody who attended tonight's meeting.